Hello and welcome to another week. I am Captain Moron. It's a pleasure to be with you. It's a pleasure to be playing Marvel Snap. If you haven't been here before, like I said, I'm Captain Moron. The purpose of this channel is to explore Marvel Snap synergies that no one has explored before. I love the randomness of the game. I love the ability to find different synergies in the numerous cards there are. And so each week I do a different deck and look at what the synergies are, how that deck worked. So really quickly, what I will do today, I'm going to go over this week's deck, how it went, what the MVP of the deck was, the surprises I found, and overall the takeaway. Then I'll quickly review the deck that I'll be playing this next week, how you can find me on Twitch during the week, and then where you can find last week's deck on MarvelSnapZone.com. Let's get started with the Sera Miracle deck. So as I mentioned at the beginning of the week, so last Saturday, I got this deck more or less from MarvelSnapZone.com. It's their top listed tier 1 deck. I was only missing 2 cards for it. Everything you see here is as they had it, except for Multiple Man is Calling Wing as they have it. Cloak they have as Mysterio. I'll just say it did not go well. I started the week at rank 53 with 1 cube toward rank 54, ended the week at rank 49 and 5 cubes toward 50. So I dropped 3 ranks and 6 cubes. That's 36 cube loss over the course of the week. I mean, it could be worse, but that was not ideal. Far worse than the other decks have done. And honestly, Mysterio and Calling Wing are key, and here's why they're key to this deck. Mysterio, I cannot tell you how many times when I've gone up against people with Mysterio, I've lost because I forget. It's so easy to forget. There's those 3 0 power illusions on the board, and it's easy to forget one of them will turn into a 5 at the end of the game, and not to account for that potential 5 power in your calculations. And so that's a really great thing to keep them guessing. 2-5 is 1 more power than 2-4, and last but not least, that gives 3 more to your bishop instead of just 1, because each of those illusions counts as a played card as well. Multiple Man, here's why you need Calling Wing. At the end of the game, I mean, first off, Calling Wing is stronger than Multiple Man. Again, that's an extra power. But at the end, you want to pop down Calling Wing to make sure that if anything but America is in your hand, it gets rid of it, and Dracula will only discard that America to become, in essence, a 4/9, right? And I had issues with that. All the times where I ended up with cards other than America Chavez in my hand, and Dracula didn't discard America. My bishop being stronger would have helped a ton, having those illusions to keep them guessing. I will say, the MVP of this deck, and this has nothing to do with the fact that my wife dressed up as this character for Halloween, was Rogue. The ability to, especially on the last turn, pop down Rogue and steal one of their crucial powers, especially going against Patriot decks. Those are really rough to go against when you get into Pool 3. Rogue was excellent. You take away one of those powers, and all their cards are losing the buff that they were getting from a Patriot or a Khazar, a Blue Marvel, or the Onslaught, doubling all of that. Makes a huge difference. Rogue is one, once you have her, you're going to put her in just about every deck with the way the meta is right now. With that, I'm going to go into next week's deck, and I will tell you, it was one heck of a time trying to figure out what this deck should look like next week. I got one of my most desired cards. It's been ever since I heard about it, listening to podcasts, preparing for the game. This is the card that I most look forward to, next to one that hasn't been released yet, which we will touch on in the future, Mr. Negative. So I tried so many decks today, actually, and it was just not working. I was getting destroyed. You can see I'm going to start this week at 45. That's a full 4 levels lower than where I ended the week with the Sera Miracle. It's because I was not finding the right synergies in Mr. Negative. But I finally hit on something, I think, here that will be pretty wonderful. The idea here is to pop Mr. Negative as soon as possible, which is going to be turn 4. Before that, I want to be playing cards that are going to get me to Mr. Negative as quickly as possible. I want Adam Warlock in a location where he's going to be drawing me extra cards I want to be throwing down Jubilee if I've gotten all the way to turn 4 and haven't drawn my Mr. Negative. Then, once I've gotten Mr. Negative, because this is the real struggle, with Mr. Negative being a 4-cost card, unless I have Psylocke, which I don't, you can't get him down till turn 4. And then, other things left untouched, you're only going to draw 2 cards before the end of the game. So in essence, you only change 2 cards. Not super helpful. Unless you, I mean, even if you draw the exact right cards, you draw an Iron Man and a Jubilee, right? And it's a 0-5 and a 1-4. Even then, it's not the best. That's what Magic is there for, to extend the game. And again, Adam Warlock is there to keep me drawing cards. Now, the real winner of the Mr. Negative deck is throwing down so many cards on the final turn, and that's where Beast comes in as well. If I can roll cards back to my hand, I've just got a handful of 0s or 1s. Then on the last turn, they don't know what's coming. They don't know whether to snap or retreat, and I can throw down a lot of cards. I'm really excited. I love Mr. Negative. I love the way he changes how the game works. And I'm really excited to see how this goes, especially as the new season will be starting on Monday. Until then, you can find me Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday in the evenings. I'll be streaming on Twitch. Here's my Twitch channel. My handle is I am Captain Moron. And I'm going to post last week's deck, this Sera Miracle with some moves is what I'm going to call it. The moves are the cloak and the multiple man. I'll put that on marvelsnapzone.com if you want to go check it out instead of referring back to some specific time in this video. Thank you so much for being part of the channel. I appreciate the views. You coming back every week. Please subscribe if you want to see more content in the future. Comment if you've got any suggestions, questions, anything like that. And have a great week, and don't stop snapping.